a number of companies have come out against Georgia ID laws, saying that it's restrictive to voting and that, of course, it's racist. Anything that the left wants to decry, they get to play the racism card. They play it over and over again, and that card is worn down. That card is crumpled. But in the minds of many that aren't viewing reality accurately, it's really, really fresh. And every time you play it, everybody goes, oh, racism! Never been a better time to be an actual racist, because people like me that just want everybody to be treated equally, that is now considered to be racism. The idea of judging somebody based on the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. Some guy that said it, I think it was a black guy, I think it was Martin Luther King Jr. Sounds like a great idea to me, but not to these people, because they play the race card over and over and over again. And I'm telling you, that card should have no more value because everything is deemed to be racist. Anything that gets in the way of their agenda is racist. So let me ask you a question. I believe that blacks are capable of getting an ID. The claim on the left is that they're not. Who's more racist? I believe you're capable. I believe you're intelligent. The left. Black people are incapable. They must be protected. We must be their white saviors. I don't want to live in a country like that. I want to live in a country where I believe that everybody has the equal opportunity to get an ID, that y'all are capable of it. And I support you. And I want IDs to be distributed. But what's wrong if I have to show an ID to get on an airplane, Delta Airlines, who was one of the companies that decried the legislative measure as being restrictive, aka racist, and they shouldn't have to be able to prove who they are when they vote? Really? Really? So all those people that have claimed, and these are the claims that they've made, including an Olympian who is training for the Olympics from Arizona who did not vote, whose voter ballot was filled out magically for him. These people should not have to prove who they are. We should just be able to trust. Oh yeah, this worked out so well. Like, let's take, for example, California. All the COVID unemployment insurance, $31 billion of taxpayer money sent out to fake addresses, to convicts, to people who didn't get it, to criminal syndicates. And y'all don't want to hold the governor responsible? Because maybe, just maybe you can play the race card and say it's racist to hold the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, responsible for the fact that $31 billion of taxpayer money went because they didn't have adequate protections. But y'all want the same thing for the voter ID. We had massive unrest in the country because many people thought that the election may or may not have been unfair. That maybe things weren't exactly on the up and up all the time, and there are certainly examples of this. For example, the Olympian that I mentioned a second ago. Then you have Major League Baseball that has moved the All-Star game from Atlanta as a penalty to the state of Georgia for enacting these laws. These laws aren't restrictive. There used to be one voting day in America. Voting day according to the Constitution, I believe it is. Today, it's multiple days. You can go ahead and mail in the ballot, but you have to be able to prove who you are. There has to be some checks and balances. Hey, maybe in California, once again, failed state, by the way, you can walk in because the DA has announced that he was not going to enforce shoplifting laws. You can walk into a Walgreens, and now all the shelves of Walgreens have been vacated of items up to $950 because at that point they might prosecute you, and they just walk out of the store and nobody does anything because the charges aren't going to be pressed. You should just trust people. They're really good people. We should defund the police. And that led to fantastic results in Minneapolis. Hey, trust people. There should be no checks and balances because people are inherently good. The difference is that on the right-hand side of the aisle, people understand that there is a certain amount of game theory that people adopt. And when there aren't going to be de-incentives to doing something, then people say, hey, there's no real penalty for doing this. My integrity in my personal equation is not that important to me. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Voter ID laws being racist. Once again, who is the racist? Me, who believes that black people are capable, who believes that everybody has the opportunity to get an ID, and if they want help getting an ID, then we can do it. Or the Democrats that say, no, it's restrictive, and these are Jim Crow laws, and they are racist, and they are against black people because they assume that black people can't get an ID. Huh? So who's the racist in this case? Who thinks of one group of people to be beneath themselves. The left. Of course, maybe it's just an excuse in order to push through FARUD, because maybe that's what they want. I'm just hypothesizing because it seems very likely that anybody that continues to adopt the policy that shoplifting laws won't be enforced below $950 is there, having seen what has happened when these things have been tried other places, and that Walgreens is now moving out of San Francisco and it becomes an anti-business environment, that it is being done intentionally in order to prove a point, in order to tear down the structures of American governance, which have been part of the point and rationale and strategy of the Soviet Union and now China. Bye-bye, America. So voter ID laws are racist because you require an ID to vote? It applies equally to everybody. Peace and blessings. If y'all got something out of it, thumb up this video and share it with a friend. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, notification bell, all notifications. Have a fantastic, fantastic day. Peace.